Howdy, YouTube neighbors. Boy, it's been a while, but the Equestrian clan has provided me with the opportunity to create more Easy Expert Challenges videos. For those who haven't seen my earliest work on YouTube, not counting some Pokemon trading card game videos back in the X and Y era, this series is about utilizing front-loaded optimization to maximize our ability to defeat expert challenges. In layman's terms, figuring out what we most want to start with and re-rolling until we get it. This is going to be somewhat different than the previous 25 episodes in this series because you can't generate a seed with modded content. So my sample run will basically begin on Ring 1 when I successfully have the elements I'm re-rolling for. The alternative, of course, being forcing you all to watch those re-rolls just so you could see the very beginning, and that would just be silly. So, to start off this series continuation, we're going to begin with Ponies Take Over. In this challenge, there's honestly very little to optimize because we're giving practically no breathing room. We have no champion, no banner units, but we can almost always count on a random common or uncommon pony unit showing up in our hand every turn. These ponies will always be social, and their triggered abilities get doubled up. That means that the only units we can count on always seeing are Train Stewards and whatever units we have in our starter cards. Background ponies, for example. I can't imagine dregs or imps really meshing well with this challenge. So, before we can craft an optimization plan, we need to know what we're dealing with. Which ponies can we count on showing up to the fight? There are 9 pony units that can show up. Now note real quick that 2 of them are X-cost units, so be sure to plan ahead for that. Of these 9 units, only 2 ponies grant scaling to our floor, Misty Step and Snack-a-Smacky. The problem with Misty Step is that she is best as an infusion to a multi-strike or a sweeping unit, or as a banner unit herself with multi-strike. But banner units get purged. So that's not an option. And when I say purged, I don't mean purged on death, like a permadeath situation. I mean purged after you play her. So, without any means of giving randomly generated Misty Steps multi-strike, the best we can hope to see from her is Rage 2 once per round. On the other hand, Snack-a-Smacky's scaling can all be but guaranteed if we select Default Awoken as our secondary clan, and her scaling ability is supported in clan with Squeaky Boo Boo, who can also show up from junk food. We want equestrian banners in unit trials to get Snack-a-Smacky ideally or Misty Step if that's what we get, and then infuse them into Train Stewards to ensure that we have that scaling without getting purged. Between the 2 equestrian paths, I think the Exile Champion start is better. While having a couple background ponies would be nice to fill out the floor in the early waves, 5 is just too much. And with them being social, you can't just play them on a floor to die. So you just keep drawing them, they clog up your hand. Nobody wants that. And Night Terrors can be minimized at the Magic Shop with 20 in Consume. So, I think we've got our clans. What's our optimization plan? We are going to re-roll until we have Shenanigans in our starter cards and Advanced Prototype as an artifact. Advanced Prototype carries us through the early rings where we are super weak without a champion, and it gives us multi-strike units for a possible Misty Step infusion. And that being said, if you're confident in your ability to handle the early game, Root Split Mask is also a good artifact to start with because it solves our biggest problem, not scaling fast enough to clear waves. It gives us a second chance at each one and will be very important when it comes to Divinity if we don't have every one of our ducks in a row. On sheer power level alone, however, I give Advanced Prototype the advantage. So we're going to start with Shenanigans because we are going to invest heavily in our spells this run. Without banner units, there's little call to frequent steal shops. The only thing we really want is social for our Train Stewards. At least one Train Steward that we can dupe after a good infusion. So we're going to see more magic shops than you'd see in an average run. Shenanigans is just an excellent damage spell that kills off problematic units in the early game, and once you've sufficiently invested in it, will wipe off even heavy units from the map in the late game. So, we have our plan, we're ready to start our re-rolling and begin the run. Or are we? A word of warning before we begin is really required. Mare You Know is one of the 9 units that can show up with junk food, but she does not play well with that artifact. You're going to see what I mean in the showcase run, but up front she draws 2 cards per turn on account of the 7th element, and this can very quickly fill your hand up, especially if you lean into engrafts or other card draw. Problem with that is, if you've got 10 cards at the start of your turn, then junk food does not trigger, and you get no ponies. The problem is, not playing her means a turn of not putting units on the floor, and that's a problem in this challenge, because scaling properly requires a full floor. So, and forgive me for suggesting this, but if you're feeling skittish about it, you may want to take another look at that Give Pony button toggle on the front page and click it. We're not here to be honorable or avoid being cheesy. We are here to do whatever it takes to win and to defeat the challenge. And if that means that we just need some free cards every now and then to fill out our floor to make sure that we win, so be it. No one's watching. Well, unless you record it for YouTube, naturally, but you know what I mean. So, we're here to do whatever it takes to win. So, with that in mind, let's do just that. So, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today on account of the fact that OBS just went and decided to disable my mic midway through the run, and I didn't realize it until it was already over. And this was a really good showcase run I didn't want to lose. So, you're basically going to be getting commentary live as it goes. We have gotten our advanced prototype, and we actually lucked into a root split mask. So we've gotten our shenanigans, and we have everything that we're looking to get. And now we are looking to see if we can take this unit draft. There's a quick refresher on what the pony artifacts do. My only concern here is, and here I'm counting, we have the shenanigans, we have the vine grasp. We can clear the 4 and 5/1 units, which will become 8 and 9 units. But taking another look at the map here, we have our equestrian banner over our steel shop. Then we have a magic shop on 3, and then we have that removal dupe with an awoken banner on 4. So we have 2 equestrian banner, 1 equestrian banner that we're guaranteed, 1 we have to give up a removal dupe for. So the unit draft is actually really important here. And what I'm concerned about is the Apprentice of Light. The Apprentice of Light can easily gain damage shields by killing weak ponies on our front line. So we could potentially take a lot of pyre damage here if we don't draw into our shenanigans when we need to draw into them. But the unit draft is that important, so I've taken it. And we begin with a Misty Step. We'll play out the Train Steward up front for damage shield meat wall. Now we're getting that really weak scaling from Misty Step, but it's some scaling. Nonetheless, for the first 2 rings, we're basically going to be leaning heavily into our advanced prototype. That was the plan. There's Finchy. With some luck, maybe we can get 15 gold off of her. But she's a warm butt to put in a seat, and that's what the game's about right now. We put down another Train Steward, and our floor is now full. So we're only fitting pony units on there from here on out. Putting down a Train Steward mid, because Train Steward plus shenanigans is enough to kill that frontline unit. Laying that out. And then playing out Finchy. Just building up our line and protecting our butts with shenanigans and night terrors. There's another Finchy. Once again, right now, we just need hits on the floor. So we just keep playing them. Another Train Steward shenanigans kill on the frontline unit. Night kill terror on mid unit, and then Vine Grasp to kill the bottom unit. We've drawn into Mare You Know, but right now we don't have sufficient card draw that she's going to stop us from getting ponies. So we're fine there. We're going to Vine Grasp the 9-1, and then we're going to play out 2 restores up top, or in mid, just to feel better. We've drawn a Train Steward, which means we get some hits on chains, and we might even have the kill on mid. That's how powerful Advanced Prototype on Ring 1 is. And there's our 3rd Finchy. RNG being what it is. I don't know how junk food is weighted, if common units show up more often than uncommon units. I didn't get the feeling that was the case as I played through it, but once again, I simply do not know the answer to that question. But we got our kill on mid, and I'm not loving anything I'm seeing here. This is not the run for packed audience. Reserves we can't count on. And apple cider is just not enough to make any kind of an impact. Taking a look at our logbook here. I'm honestly not sure why. I don't remember why I was doing this. Oh yes, we were looking to see if Snackus Maggie's trigger was floor wide or if it was just her, and basically apple cider, it's just going to be 1 rejuvenate trigger. So apple cider is probably not the call here, even if we do see Snackus Mackie. So we just take the dime. Wasn't loving any of these options. Vine Grasp obviously wasn't it. We already have 2. Wildwood Sap is okay. But Sting in the early game will give us some card draw. We'll probably purge it later. And here's where we get hosed. We see no ponies in our unit draft. And to be perfectly frank, none of these are viable infusions for a multi-striking Train Steward. So, we're going to take the dime, and we're going to dust ourselves off for Ring 2. Peeking in the steel shop. And it gives me everything I've ever wanted. Social and multi-strikes. And we now have a triple striking Train Steward, which will be perfect for a Misty Step infusion. But we don't get Misty Step, we get Snackus Mackie, which is fine. That's precisely what we wanted to begin with. Just double checking to make sure her infusion does what I think it does. And here's where we go to Shardtopolis. We're going to put the Snackus Mackie into our good Train Steward while we have it. To guarantee we can get her on the floor with that social. And then we are going to start jacking up our shenanigans. And we are going into the red for Ring 2. But we are going to be very powerful for doing so. So, 65 shards, Ring 2, let's get it. Spikes 3 for 75 gold. Not in love with that at all. But we need the money, because we're going to a magic shop next ring, so we're going to figure out the spikes. We have enough to protect our back line. And we start with a Snackus Mackie. I am going to very briefly entertain the idea of playing bottom floor. And then I realize that's a 75 health unit that's going to run right up to our pyre, and we cannot possibly do that. We're going to have to deal with the scourges that we take on. And there's Misty. And there's a non-impressive Train Steward, but we can go ahead and put him down. And we're looking at where we want to put Misty Step here. We kind of want to get her close to the front to ensure that we get those strike triggers. Vine Grasp is going to kill off that back unit for us, but alternatively, yeah, I can bring the really problematic unit up front where it's not protected by that giant wall. Okay, we draw into YOLO. Not ideal. We still have not found our really good Train Steward unit. So basically, it's now a question of, do I want those rejuvenate triggers? They're double triggers, so I definitely do. We're going to shenanigans out our frontline units to not have to deal with them, and we'll draw and we'll see if we can draw into YOLO later. And there's another Snackasmacky. If only, if only we had floor-wide healing. Not everybody's dying up front, and I do not like that. So we're going to use the piercing shenanigans on the wall, and we're going to make sure that everybody dies. Everybody dies. Little squeaky boo-boo, I don't want to see you scooping up the monsters and putting them on the train. We did our Night Terrors first to ensure we could kill the backline unit and still have enough to get Squeaky Boo Boo up there and give us some regen triggers. But we have this in the bag. Nice, easy peasy, bacon greasy. Alright, another very unimpressive Equestrian Clan pack for us. It really wants to give us packed audience, and we still really do not want it. And Dress to Kill is just not that great a card, especially in this context. But did somebody say floor-wide healing? Because that's a glimmer. It's hard to pass up a Razor Sharp Edge for, but we got Snackasmacky infused into a Train Steward. We've got the Rejuvenate triggers. So we're definitely taking the glimmer. Scooping up some Pyre health and go into our magic shop. Nothing that we want to double stack. Gonna peek in the temple and see what we get. Nothing we can really use. No good -2 target. Nor do we have an intrinsic target. So we're gonna stay at 65 shards here. I think that's the right call. Double checking my map. Don't know why. I can't remember. Force of habit, probably. And now we're going to invest into that Piercing Glimmer, get up to 125. That should kill most of our problematic units. Ideally, we want to get -1s in all of our restores. I don't know that that's going to happen. Well, I do know that's not going to happen. I can just tell you right now, spoiler alert, it's not going to happen. Oh, boy. So, right now, I'm considering giving up that -1 to afford a reroll if it happens to be holdover. Problem is, I can't use anything else. I can't use Remove Consume, I can't use Permafrost. But, holdover is a high enough roll that I really want to go through with it. And here's the part where I'm talking myself into it. Yep. Click the roll. Come up with boxcars. So we'll put the -1 in the restore. And we're going to put 10 into that glimmer. Eventually we want to find some piercing for it, I think. Looking in the caverns. And unimpressed with the caverns, but Strength Stone's not nothing. We'll overstack our Train Steward with it. Alright, XX Daedalus. On this run, because I didn't really show it in the front, we have XX Daedalus, we got Vanilla Arcus, and then we got Seraph the Patient. You'll note that we haven't really found any Seraph the Patient solutions yet. We're working on it. But look at that. We start off with 3 Train Stewards, including our really good one. So, 1, 2, and 3. And we have just an army of damage shields to protect us. So all that's left is to play out the shenanigans, and should be obvious here. I don't know why I'm having trouble clicking on the card, but there you go. And we're just going to have to draw back around to Preeny Snuggles. We'll be fine without her. There's Squeaky Boo Boo. Always good to see you. Now, the problem is we only have 2 Ember. So, if we play Squeaky Boo Boo, we're getting hit twice by that bomb. And that basically means our frontline unit is not good at all. Now, I Vine Grasped it in hopes of doing some math, but then I realized that playing Night Terrors, which would kill the bomb, would only give me 1 Ember, and I couldn't play Squeaky Boo Boo. And Squeaky Boo Boo is just too good in the context of a Snacky infused Train Steward. And there's Marionneau. Always happy to see Marionneau in most runs. This one's perhaps a little bit different. Nonetheless, we're going to play her out. And we need to do something about the damages coming in on the front line. So, we're going to Vine Grasp and Night Terrors the front dude. And then we're now looking at just 2 damage. That's not so bad. Get our Rejuvenate triggers. And then there's something to do with that Sting. We're going to just soften up the next line. 2 damage, not that big a deal. And Marionneau has given us a free kill with Buck Off. So, you get a free kill, you take a free kill. My concern right here is that 9x2. And if I really am going to have to use my shenanigans on him. It's a free Night Terrors, so that's fine. But yes, the answer is we do indeed have to use it. But we're going to get some Rejuvenate triggers off of those 2 restores. Alright, we've redrawn Preeny Snuggles. Because of the haste conduit, there's a lot of butts on this floor that we need to contend with. Night Terrors is a free kill plus 1 Ember. Happy to see that. And we have 4 Ember. Free restore. Plain and simple. But we get that Preeny Snuggles in our hand, and we're trying to figure out now the calculus of what's the best way to spin that Ember. Played out a Sting up top just to see if that changes anything. It really doesn't. And yeah, putting all that into Preeny Snuggles is ideal. So we still have that Finchy. We can't put her on the floor now because we've hit our 7th floor limit. We're about to lose our frontline unit, so we have room for a pony next turn. And we're going to put Finchy on mid because there's a non-zero chance that we can protect her and get a little bit of money off of it. Not much, but every little bit counts. There's our free kill again. And the shenanigans out the meat wall in front of Daedalus. Night Terrors hits twice for 2, so it gets past the damage shield, which frees us up to do 6 damage to Daedalus. And just drop yet another warm body on the floor. Snacky. Can take 2 hits from Daedalus, allowing Pinchy to hit 3 times for 15 gold. That ain't bad. Now we're debating whether it's proper or not to play the shenanigans. And Ember Drain 2 for 125 damage to the boss right before he shows up, I think is a good investment. No shenanigans victory, but we get close. He will survive exactly one wave. He will remove one damage shield and do nothing else to me. Alright. Poor Tom. One day it's going to be Tom's run. But that day's not today. So the question now becomes, is there anything that I want quick, more than I want a Wild Tome? And I really don't. Now we have one pony unit in this draft, and it's a way of giving social to another Train Steward, so we don't have to go to a steel shop. And that is really worth considering. Not keen on making him more expensive, but I don't know. +1 Ember for +8/+8 in social. That ain't bad. So, we've been having Ember problems, and I really hate not taking draw here. Obviously, we don't need space, because we're social. I really, really want the draw here, but we have Ember problems, and we have to solve them, and that means taking Fell's Remorse over Herzl's Compound. It stings, but we do what we gotta do. To the left is an equestrian banner, some gold, and an artifact. To the right is a removal dupe. And a removal dupe right now is extremely hard to pass up. It gets rid of our Train Stewards that aren't particularly worthwhile, and it lets us copy our Snack-a-Smacky. So, as hard as it is to give up our last equestrian banner, we are going to answer the siren call of that Hellvent. And we're going to sell off this fine Awoken banner. Gonna dupe our really good Train Steward. Come on, JC, press the button. You can do it. And then purging out the Train Stewards that don't scale us at all. And we're heavy on shards, so I'm not keen on taking that horde. We're going to stay right where we're at. Party boys and multi-strike conduits. We desperately need the money because we are likely going to hit that trinket shop. And there's no money across from the trinket shop. It's at the magic shop. But man, that magic shop is some really poor value. The magic shop itself is good value, but that's pretty much all we're really getting from it. So we need the money. We are going to have to figure out the armor. Static Joy is an okay frontline unit. I don't hate it. But because of the double triggers, Preeny Snuggles is just too good not to play. So we'll redraw Static Joy. And that's going to have to be fine. And we're going to pull the units we care about that we don't want to hit the pyre in front of the tank, just in case we can't deal with them. And we have not drawn a great hand for dealing with them. Now, that second Preeny Snuggles helps a lot. And we're even going to be able to get the Collector. She's going to be a bit weaker than the other one, so we're going to put her in front in case our lines fold. Oh, there's a Glimmer. There's a Misty. Unfortunately, we can't fit that Train Steward on the floor. But we still have one pip, so we can put Misty wherever we want her. Glimmer is so good for us here. Pony is Snack-a-Smacky. And unfortunately, we just played our Glimmer. Now we're going to play out our Social Steward. And we don't really need the Snack-a-Smacky, so we're going to Rail Spike here and see what we can draw. That saves us some damage. Get some Rejuvenate trigger scaling going. Oh, I'm sorry, not multi-strike conduits, haste conduits. That's even worse. I don't know why I said multi-strike conduits. He looked like a multi-strike conduit, you know what I mean? These conduits, they all look alike. You can't tell the difference between them. A little bit of conduit racism there. I would like to save 11 damage if I could, but that's a Quint-striking YOLO that could be on my floor. So that requires some thought. Oh, that's a 6x9 that's going to start scaling because even the because she's social, even the multi-strike gets doubled on summon. Doesn't feel like it should work that way, but it does. So we've drawn back into Snack-a-Smacky and Static Joy. And get our Rejuvenate trigger. And pull the conduit in front. And then we are going to forget that's a haste conduit and put someone on the middle floor to die. Not like Party Boy was going to let them live on bottom floor. So, you know, what's the point? Alright, we've drawn a free kill into our hand, so we'll take it. We have Party Boy dead to rights, but it's Party Boy. We want to flex on him just a little bit. So we will do just that. Okay. In the context of our run, all three of these are super good. Spa Treatment is 3 Rejuvenate triggers. First Aid is good for our front line, and it's free, but Spontaneous Song and Dance exists. And that's hard to say no to. And speaking of saying hard to say no to, in a Rejuvenate trigger run, there's Engraft. Tenon Piercing is definitely going into our Glimmer. Absolutely. And here's where we realize that we accidentally purged the unit that we intended to put into that Train Steward. So be forewarned, that is a very real possibility. You've got to be mindful of it. Looking around for a spell chain target, thinking about that shenanigans, but nah. Nothing that's worth going to 100 plus shards on Ring 5. Yes, JC, all banner units gain purge. You totally purge that unit. So, I'm going to ask you, YouTube viewers, did you see when I did it? Because even I, on the second run-through watching this, forgot that I did it. Ah, boy. Yep, free Engraft. And there's Holdover. There's really only one answer to the question, what should I put Holdover in? It's Spontaneous Song and Dance. If you have Spontaneous Song and Dance, and you have a Holdover, you make the match. Joining Consuming of the Night Terrors, because that makes them actually usable. And then, not a problem. Alright, Ring 5, 90 shards, and it is the Self-Made Harpy. We're on that damage shield plan a little bit, so that could be a problem, but on the whole, the boss is not a problem. Spell shields, on the other hand, huge problem, so we can't take this trial. Start with a Snack-a-Smacky and a Snack-a-Smacky Steward. we are going to have some really fine glimmers. We're going to use Snacky Smacky as a frontline tank because she's the... Well, not as a tank, but as a frontline sacrifice because she is the weaker unit. Well, Shenanigans out the big guy downstairs. We're going to want to work these lines as much as we can. Static Joy exists. She's an okay frontline, I suppose. Playing another Social Steward. We got some free spells to play out. So we're going to do just that. We're going to greed hard for that collector. Mary Nose shown back up. A welcome addition to any floor. Most times. We successfully kill everything on that floor. And then we got a 12 by 10 to take out. And another Snacky Smacky trigger. We've drawn Preeny Snuggles. Always good to have a hard-hitting Preeny Snuggles. And we've got 2 essentially free Night Terrors because they give us the Ember back. But also, that's a Glimmer. And we have 3 Snacky Smackies on the floor, so that's +2/+2 per, so that's good scaling. Once again, just doing the math at this point. How big a Preeny Snuggles can I get away with here? The answer is a 73. And Buck Off just became free. Happy to see that with an upgraded tank on our floor. We got 6 units, room for 1 more. We still got a couple of ponies to see, so Static Joy may not be it here. And we just engrafted the wrong pony. Right now, we're just about preventing as much damage as we can. And Static Joy is not going to be our 7th pony. Alright, who's our next candidate? Snacky Smacky. Heck yeah. So let's get them triggers. Wipe that entire floor off 1 Glimmer. And just keep getting our triggers. Downstairs, we have some damage spells to use. We'll put a little bit in the Self-Made Harp and move her forward. Look at all them triggers. Finchy. Seen a lot of Finchy today. Alright. So the question now is the Awoken's Rail Spike. At what point do we play it? We're going to play out Finchy anyway just to get her out of our potential redraw because we are going to be shuffling and drawing next turn. And we're going to go ahead and Shenanigans up now. That means that we are going to be playing very few cards next turn. But I decided to go with a full-on song and dance over the Rail Spike. And we have this one cleanly in the bag. So, Buck Off ignores the frontline unit if it's a boss, and then he kills the first unit that qualifies. That's good to know. There's Spa Treatment again, but we don't have a Seraph the Patient solution. I really want that Spa Treatment, but Party Cannon is kind of a Seraph solution. And it can also potentially let us play top floor Divinity without issue. I hate that I have to pass up Spa Treatment in this run, this perfect Spa Treatment run, but I really need that Party Cannon. I really need some option to Seraph for Seraph if I see nothing else this entire run. And there's another engraft. We're going to take it. Engraft's super good for us for rejuvenate triggers. So on the left side is some money and some removals. On the right side is another dupe. An artifact in a caverns. We're not really looking for anything from the steel shop. So it's basically removals and cash over value. And honestly, looking at the map again, yeah, it's hard to pass up that kind of value. Conscription, notice, literally does nothing for us. We have no champion, so we take the hose water. Always happy to see hose water anyway. Never like when it shows up after a potential crystal cloak, but what can you do? Train graveyard. It is absolutely not petrified heart here. That's obvious. There's a case to be made for blood, but I think the most value we're probably going to get is with another overstack of my Train Steward. That'll bring it up over 50 health. And especially when it comes to Seraph the Patient, we're going to have a problem with our lines folding. Maybe even Divinity if we play top floor. So we are going to have to... the unit we're expecting to scale the floor, we need to keep alive. So that's the call. It would be really good to have another Piercing Shenanigans, so we're going to do that. I think 2 of our Snackasmacky Stewards is enough. And as a reminder, we are going up against Vanilla Arcus. That means rally triggers, which do trigger off of social. If you social from another floor into a rally trigger floor, you get the trigger. Definitely want Squeaky Boo Boo. Absolutely. We want regen on our units. Regen on our Snackasmackies is scaling. Now the question is how best to use the 2 Ember we still have. And the answer to that is Night Terror is the frontline guy, so I can sting the middle guy, and then Shenanigans the back guy. And we now have 2 more waves of no enemies to deal with. And there's Crunchy Munchie. Crunchy Munchie is a dead card for us because we cannot play carrots on the floor. She is essentially a warm body. And not even that warm of one, if we're being honest. Shenanigans out, and the train is clean once again. I want to protect Squeaky Boo Boo, and this is not my big tanky one, so it's a hard call to make, but I'm going to go with that steward in front. I think that's correct. Yay, Snackasmacky. Always good to see a Snackasmacky. I got my Night Terrors, I'm getting my trigger on. And I want to start popping off those spell shields so that I don't waste Shenanigans later on. Alright, you are Incant. Boo Incant. And what a hand to not be able to incant. So we're going to play on the guy that doesn't have an incant trigger. Because we want the Ember in the draw. Glimmer out that back line. Getting Shenanigans out that line, so we have yet another clear run. We got our Train Steward. And YOLO is a 6-6 right now. And we can do better. We have 4 waves remaining. So we're just gonna pass him. There's another Squeaky Boo Boo. So having 2 Squeaky Boo Boos on the floor doesn't really do anything for us over 1 as far as our scaling goes. But it is another body on the floor. Alright, clearing off that last spell shield. Engraft, and now would actually be a good time for that YOLO. So we're going to play him out. This is a hard call. If I get bad draws, I don't want to kill that backline unit. So we're just going to intern here. I could have put 3 into Argus there, but it really doesn't matter right now. Preeny Snuggles. I'd like to see a Preeny Snuggles. Decisions. I definitely want to put Preeny Snuggles on the floor before I start scaling. But that basically means that I play nothing else that's not free, so it requires a little bit of thought before action. And that is the rally trigger. Ooh, but that's a Preeny Snuggle. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Yep. As a reminder, we are dazed because of that trigger. My first run, I accidentally forgot about that. So that's why it happened. But given what I have in my hand, given the room I have on the pyre, and given the fact that I have a root split mask, it was the right call. Misty Step, but we don't have room. We have done too good at protecting our ponies. And we clear the entire floor anyway. So, go us. I'm going to shenanigans out him so that I could have prevented a little bit of damage up front, yes, but I wanted another wave completely clear to work with. Got a little more song and dance. Same old story. A YOLO we can't put on the floor. But it's definitely time for shenanigans now. We're going to come up, we're going to get our trigger. We're going to do our little song and dance. And we are going to absolutely wreck Arcus in the face. Alicornification. It's definitely not Heart's Desire. We already have a Rail Spike, and we're not really doing anything with it. This is the run. This is the time for Alicornification. We have Ember. We're going to a magic shop. We can get it down to 4. We can make it playable. We can easily hit Herd 7. A double striking Snack-a-Smacky pony with Quick and Trample. Yes, absolutely. Now here we definitely take draw. In retrospect, that's going to cause me a lot of problems, you're going to see. Center Salve Lightstone Casing is actually a hard call. If that were Seraph the Diligent, I would really have a hard time not taking Center Cell. But it's patient, so we're going to take Lightstone Housing, because we're seeing 2 magic shops still. At this point, Night Terrors are clogging up our deck. Let's get rid of them. Another holdover. We happen to have it in Graft. A free one at that. Yeah, we do that. 10 magic power. There's places it could go. So, 10 healing on the Spontaneous Song and Dance. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be a second instance of healing, so it wouldn't give us another trigger, and that's why I decided not to do that. So we'll put it in the shenanigans, make it stronger. It's making a shenanigan stronger is almost never wrong. 20 and consume. We're going to throw that into Night Terrors. On second thought, we have a removal coming up next ring. Let's just purge it. We're better off not having it than we are consuming it. So the only thing I can really use here is the -1. But, I don't know, Permafrost and Alicornification. I can afford it. It helps. It helps. It's hard to play, and I want to make sure I can play it when I can play it. So we'll Permafrost it. And we'll stick a -1 into the other engraft. Yeah, we want to make sure we can always play our engrafts, even on turns we've Ember Drained ourselves from shenanigans. Alright, thinking about taking the money. Not keen on going into triple-digit shards before ring 7, but that trial on ring 7 might be too much for us. If it's Mark of Invasion, we cannot handle the Wilt Wings. Heaven Seal is also scary. And look at that, it's Mark of Invasion. We cannot take that money. There's the multi-strike conduit. And the General. I'm not afraid of the General. I am deathly afraid of a whole metric frick ton of Wilt Wings. Start with a Static Joy. Not my favorite start, but I wouldn't mind armoring up the floor some. I suspect we are going to lose some units in this one. This one might be tricky. The shenanigans out in the frontline tank. Consume the Night Terrors. And yeah, I'm seriously going to Real Spike for 1 and then get hosed. So, yay. Finchy. Hello again, Finchy. You know what? I didn't get to take the trial, so, you know, maybe you can earn me a little bit of money. I mean, here's 5 up front hitting the Collector. The Collector's now worth 105. So, I can place my Train Stewards anywhere I want. I'm just going to go ahead and put them in back. I consider those first 2 pony units expendable. Squeaky Boo Boo! Always good to see you. Hey, the Squeaky Boo Boo, always good to see you. Alright, buck off for a kill. And now, who is getting shenanigans? Oh, that's a Wilt Wing. Those are huge Wilt Wings. I want to make sure that I have enough scaling to get through the lines, and I'm not positive of that yet. So we're gonna not take the chance. There you know, love card draw. Doot. Here I am playing out my restores. I don't have Herd 7 yet. I need 1 more. Restore. Alright, now who's getting the shenanigans? Those are some scary Wiltwings. I would really like to not deal with them. I can't kill them both, but I can sure kill one. My hand is full. No ponies for me. And we are looking to lose our first 2 units. Do I want to beef up their hit points and see if I can get them to survive, or do I want to just let them go down? I think, regardless, we need to scale. If they survive, they survive. If they don't, they don't. 3 spells to kill 1 Wiltwing. I really don't care about 1 damage here. So who's getting the shenanigans? Yeah, 25 by 3. I would love to prevent 75 damage. Thank you very much. Still cannot allocate quantification. Only have 6 dudes. And I'm not drawing a 7th anytime soon. Alright. Rejuvenate triggers. Rejuvenate triggers. I'm going to kill the multi-striking conduit down there. Make sure I don't redraw it because I'm going to shuffle again. Double shenanigans. Prevent all the damage. Come down and party cannon the general. And then a little more song and dance. Ooh, 2 free restores. Yes, please. Still getting frustrated that I can't play my Helicornification. I have a practically free hand. I can play the Helicornification and the vast majority of stuff in my hand, but I don't have enough ponies. Yeah, we're going to start shenanigansing the general. We have an absolute beater of a floor. But we're going to play this out for science. I want to see, going into Seraph, how powerful I am, because Party Cannon is not going to be reliable as a solution, and we are going to have to damage race him. That's just all there is to it. 167 by 3s. That looks great. And it's triple digits for the rest of the ponies. I think we're going to be just fine. Ooh, blank flank. What's there to think about? It's blank flank. I know your arthritis is acting up, but just click that button. Engraft. Do I want a 3rd engraft? I really don't. Card draw is not my friend right now. So the only one I would really consider is Awake, and that's way too expensive for our deck. So we're gonna just take the dime here, and we're gonna move on. Alright, removal, dupe, magic. Has there ever been a better threesome? Crosby, Stills, and Nash? Heck no. Nah. Crosby, Stills, and Nash doesn't beat removal dupe, much less removal dupe magic. No offense to the Crosby, Stills, and Nash fans out there. Okay, how high do I want to go up on shards? It's a question. Now, my resources are limited, so I'm going to look in all of my shops and see what's available. Priory's Cloak. Overhealing doesn't count. Otherwise, that would really be worth considering. Really help us clear the waves. With that floor-wide regen we got going on. Ooh. But it doesn't, so we won't. 20 consume permafrost -1. How many times have we seen this exact combination today? Alright, -1. Where is it going? Yeah, free glimmer is always good. Let's spin it. Remove consume, still not it. 20 consume, still not it. So we'll just take the -1 here eventually. We're going to spin the trinkets and be completely unimpressed. +3 magic powers, +15 to my shenanigans. I'm not feeling that. That's not really getting any wind in my sails. Not running any fingers up my thigh. So, if we have the cash left over, we'll take Firewall, but I'm not excited about it. I'd love to put -1 in restores, but I think the call here is to put it in Party Cannon and make Party Cannon playable whenever it shows up, if I happen to be able to hit Seraph with it. That will help us win the damage race. Removals. Night Terrorist is the obvious one. So what's the Wink Link now? Assuming I can get Elf Gornification to work, everything in the deck has a place. Well, except for Sting. All Sting does for me is draw cards, and I don't even really want that right now. So yeah, there's no better second option. Buck Off's worth considering taking away, but it's just too good, and I would really, really love to buck off a Divinity mini-boss. So, after much deliberation, we are going to get rid of the Sting. Apparently, I had to talk myself into it again. Okay, back to the trinket shop. We're going to buy the Firewall after all. We don't need to buy any more purges. Alright. I don't think the... Well, maybe. 120 shards to make that shenanigans kill pretty much anything other than a mini-boss. Or something with a spell shield. Damage shield. Yeah, I'm kind of talking myself out of this one now. I just don't know if it brings 120 shards worth of power to my run. On the other hand, an intrinsic Awoken's Rail Spike. On the turn where I usually have excess Ember left over, yeah, that's definitely a good call. So all that's left to do now is dupe something. I don't know why I'm pretending it's anything other than that shenanigans. Case could be made for Blank Flank, but no, it's just too much power in that shenanigans not to dupe it again. Alrighty, 120 shards. Seraph the Patient. Let's go get it. Okay, well, a Mariano start. That's unfortunate. Definitely going to Glimmer so that I can Party Cannon Seraph. That buys us 3 turns. He's probably going to swing at us twice in those 3 turns if we go up top. Well, I'm going to engraft you so that I can get my Ember, draw my card, but then I'm going to shenanigans you. So do I play Mariano here or not? I don't think I do. Not until I have at least 5 ponies on that floor. Ooh, squeaky boo-boo. Sing it with me. Hey, the squeaky boo-boo, always good to see you. Alright, we got our Tinky Snacky Smacky, but here's the thing. I don't know that I want him in front with Seraph the frickin' Patient. So, we're definitely going to play out Squeaky Boo-Boo. That's happening. And hopefully you can get enough regen on my floor before it goes down to bring me value. That's really the best we can hope for right now. Now, that's Ember Drain, and I can get rid of that Ember Drain. You don't have any buffs. It'll cost me 10 armor, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. You're basically here to absorb melee weakness and hits for me, and try and get a little bit of regen going on my floor. Besides, are you a mouse or a duck? I can't really tell. I mean, you're a pony unit, so you're a pony, obviously, but what's with the mouse ears and the duck bill? Bronies, get at me in the comments. Tell me what's going on with that, if you know. Oh, 15 by 2. This is overkill, but I like to get as many hits into Seraph as I can. And honestly, I'd like another clean floor, but I think I can manage it. Let's take the kill on that backline unit while we can. All right, who are we bringing? Finchy. We don't need any more money. We're at the end of the run, so she's a warm pony on the floor. One step closer to alicornification. I kind of want you to hit that melee weakness. So you get to live. Now, while we're pondering hard thoughts, let's do the easy stuff. Let's get our rejuvenate triggers. Or we can have ADD and go back down to the bottom floor. That too. That'll work. Incant Seraph for absolutely no reason. You can tell I was probably getting a little bit tired at the end of this run. And I'm going to elect not to play shenanigans because I can't kill anything with it and I don't want to take the Ember Drain. Okay, this is going to be the end of Squeaky Boo Boo there. Drew into a YOLO. And we've drawn back into Marino. I think it's safe to put Marino on the floor now. Alright. Maximize my triggers. I want to consume that Night Terrors, but that's 2 multi-strike off of YOLO. Still cannot alicornification. Alicornification. Can't do it. There is no saving that front line. And even when I do play YOLO, I'm still back down to 6. That's the frustrating thing. I thought this was Alicornification's run, but it doesn't look to be. Maybe on Divinity. Who knows? Maybe we can control our card draw enough to get that last pony. I'm not giving up yet. Alright. Actually, yes. The value is to kill you first, and then... I don't know where you're going. Get back up there. Buck off you. Vine Grasp you. The floor is clear. Now, let's consider what we have with our resources. We definitely want all those Rejuvenate triggers. That's happening. Graft. Feel some rage for nothing better to do with Blank Flank right now. Wouldn't mind getting you close to Shenanigans range. Yeah, we'll do that. We get our last Rejuvenation trigger and then Song and Dance. And that's a wrap. For that turn. We still got plenty to go in this fight. Alright. We're looking to lose our front Snacky Steward. Let's see if we can fix that. I have triple shenanigans. I should be able to do something with this. The school canceled tomorrow? I just now realized the ponies talk. How did I do 12 episodes? 12 episodes at the time of this airing. 12 episodes of ponies, and not realize I didn't talk before. Man, ThreeFishies really put work into this mod. Ooh. Fuck off, I gave him a free kill. Do I still have anything to kill up there? Oh, yes, I do. Neat. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Alright, I wanna work on getting Seraph floor as clear as possible. I can't do it with a party cannon, though. I can get rid of 130 points of armor for sure, though. That is a waste of a party cannon, but it's worth considering. Worth considering. I would really like to get rid of that melee weakness. 45 damage, minus whatever region I got going on. Yeah, you can live. You, on the other hand, can get 3 days. I'm gonna move you, my problematic unit, in front of that tank. Alright, end it with a song and dance. Oh, perfect time for a glimmer. Happy to see you. Alright, we're drawing 7 cards. 7 plus 2 is 9. We should have a pony next turn. But even if we do, we can't play it because we're losing middle floor. I know I just dazed you, but yeah, we'll go ahead and take you out. Like I said, I want a clear path to Seraph. This is a damage race. A damage race we already win. So, rather than get sweaty, I'm just going to click in turn. I love the fact that our opponents are still generating money for us off of strikes. Now that we can do anything with it. It's a cute little common unit that you can only get through certain champions and cards. Alright, Divinity to 120 shards. What is that, 11 sweep? We do not have our days card, so we're going to have to keep that in mind. We got about close to a 1 in 3 chance of drawing it next turn. Awoken's Rail Spike may change the calculus somewhat, but the problem is Preeny Snuggles is in my hand. So for right now, let's focus on murking everybody we can murk down below. I think we just play out the Preeny Snuggles. I hate it, but do what you gotta do. Yep, that's an 11 sweep. We can prevent 1 point of that damage. So exciting. Ooh, Hose Water doing work. That's Misty Step. She will not survive an initial sweep. Oh, yes, she will. She'll survive 1 because she's got armor 5. Oh, I missed my chance to play Party Cannon. I can power through it, I think. I'm going to kill you off. Right. Ooh, Squeaky Boo Boo. That's going to help a bit. let's take a look how bad. We're losing Misty. I can prevent that, I think. For now... I hate the Harvest Wave. Capital H, hate. Nothing but contempt for that congregation of heavenly hosts. Alright. The key here is to survive until Relentless. We can win Relentless without a problem. We just got to get there. Definitely going to do Glimmer. I just need to take a look at the math. We have got to drop that 15 by 3. We have to. That means we have to play Mariano. Rough times. Rough times. Alright, we're only drawing 6 cards here, so we should get a pony with no problem. Okay. Lost our front line. We've gained another Misty. Okay, we cannot lose our frontline steward, but we have the tools to prevent that, so let's do it. Need to kill that harvester. Not in the cards. Let's get rid of your armor. Everybody's dying on the floor. None of our units are. We're surviving another wave. We're up to 7 cards. Alright. Oh, Alicornification is frozen. We needed to be down to 6. Alicornification, why? Why are you doing that to me? Alright. Dang, we cannot hold over our ingraft if we want to get more ponies, but we need the triggers. Prevent 17 damage here, that's a no-brainer. Yeah. We're playing a survival game now. We have to survive. We cannot lose any more ponies. Or Train Stewards pretending to be ponies. Let's get all of our triggers going. Whew. Alright. Buck off is essentially 290 damage. That's value. Definitely do that. Fucking sweet boss downstairs. Not keen on getting scourges into my hand. Not much I can do about it. I do not have enough to take out the harvester down below. Is it time for the rail spike? I think it is. Party cannon's free now. I have double shenanigans. Is that enough? Did I draw into it? 125, 125, 250. That is not... It pierces. It's it. It's it. Yes. Let's get rid of the Harvest Duke. Alright. Somebody's getting a blank flank. But who? Save 12 damage here. Gee, Vine Grasp sure has fallen off, hadn't it? But I kept Vine Grasp around in case I wanted to reorder my floor of ponies, but it never came up. I'm surprised I didn't reorder my ponies once with Vine Grasp. And can't Duke. Alright, it's still worth it. It's still worth it. Ooh, double shenanigans on my Marino draw. Alright, now a whole bunch of triggers, and our health right now, I think, is good enough to survive Relentless when Divinity jacks up his damage. Math is not my friend in this run. It really isn't. These are the ponies I've thrown in my lot with, and that just means I give up Alicornification. Oh, like Sam Riegel in Critical Role when he gave up his 9th level spell slot that he wanted to use Wish for to save the world, basically. In the Season 1 finale of Critical Role. I don't talk about Critical Role much. I'm a Dimension 20 fan, primarily. I could go on and on why I think Dimension 20 is better, but they're two different products and two different communities. Let's be real. What are Dimension 20 community fans called? I mean, Critical Role has the critters. Dimension 20 should have something. But I digress. Let's get back to the game. We almost have lethal here. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do anything about the Scourges we're about to draw into our hand next turn. So, I'm not sure what I'm looking at up here. Looking for a loophole, maybe, to try and play that Alicornification. Alas, it's just not to be this run. It's just not to be. Alright, deep breath. Let's finish it. Still can't do anything about them. So let's get our triggers going. I don't need to spread my regen around. Oh, but I accidentally clicked that anyway. That's fine. Doesn't change the score. A Song and Dance and a Vine Grasp just for fun. Why not? Alright, 447 health on Divinity. Play out these shards. We've worked hard. I don't want to sabotage my score by taking one frickin' pyre damage right now. Not that we've been playing for score, but we should get a high one. Graft. Yeah, I keep looking at Alicornification, but it's just not happening. I'm one pony shy. If this were a regular run, one pony shy would be the name of this run, but it's not. This is an easy expert challenge. Alright, clear out as much as we can for Divinity. 4-4-4. We played it all out. It's on the line, and we've won. That's the important thing. We came here to win at any cost. We didn't even have to hit the give pony button. We win. Well, thank you for joining me, YouTube. I hope that this was useful to you in your own expert challenge endeavors. And I even got to master Alicornification for my troubles. Maybe one day I'll get to play it. So, that's all she wrote for this episode. Hopefully I'll have one in the can for next week. I'll see you then. But good night, YouTube. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you around.